Right, this tutorial is about solving proportions. A proportion is when two equivalent ratios are written as an equation. So for example, A over B is equal to C over D. How would we solve something like that when we have numbers in there? So here's our first example. For every 2 cookies Charlie eats, her brother eats 6. At this rate, how many cookies will Charlie eat if her brother eats 18? A lot of information in there, so we'll break it down. Okay, so we have for every 2 cookies Charlie eats, her brother eats 6. That's the first ratio. At this rate, how many cookies will Charlie eat if her brother eats 18? That's the second ratio. So we do this in steps. First, you want to set it up as a word ratio so you get your numbers in the right spot. So we chose Charlie over brother. Okay, now we're going to set it up. Well, in the first ratio, 2 cookies for Charlie, 6 for her brother. On the second ratio, at this rate, how many cookies will Charlie eat? That's where your X will go, because I don't know that, if her brother eats 18. Okay, now to solve it. This one's pretty simple. How do I get from, since these are equivalent ratios, equivalent fractions, how do I get from 6 to 18? You take it times 3. Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So 2 times 3 gives me 6. So in this case, X would be 6, and that would mean Charlie would eat 6 cookies after her brother has 18. Okay, well, what if I didn't see that right away? There is another way to solve it. 2 over 6 is equal to X over 18. You can cross multiply, so 6 times X equals 2 times 18, which is 36. Divide by 6 to isolate that variable. This is where I will get X. And 36 divided by 6 is 6. So again, I still get 6 cookies. Okay, all right, another example. The scale on a map is 1 inch is equal to 2.5 miles. 2 towns are 8 inches apart on the map. What is the actual distance? Word ratio, inches over miles. Okay, now remember we've got 2 parts here. We've got the scale given to us. 1 inch is to 2 miles, 2.5 miles, sorry. The second part is 2 towns are 8 inches apart. What is the actual distance? Okay, so first up we have 1 inch for every 2.5 miles equals 2 towns are 8 inches apart. How far is that actual distance? Okay, again, very easy. I can spot that to get from 1 to 8, I take it times 8. So whatever I do to the top, you have to do to the bottom since these are equivalent fractions. Okay, and off to the side, you work out 2.5 times 8, 40, 16, 20. So I get that the X is 20 miles. Okay, again though, what if I didn't see that quickly enough? I can still cross multiply and divide. So 2.5 equals 8 over X. Multiply, you get 20 equals 1 times X, which is X, and boom, there's your answer. I didn't have to do any division. All right, so finally, what if it gets a little messier? Terry can run 1.8 miles in 16 minutes. At this rate, how long will it take her to run 5.4 miles? So this is our first ratio. This is our second ratio. Okay, word ratio would be miles in minutes. Okay, Terry can run 1.8 miles in 16 minutes. So 1.8 over 16 equals, at this rate, how long will it take her to run 5.4 miles? That's on top. X will be on the bottom. Okay, I don't know off the top of my head quickly how to get from here to here, so I'm just going to cross multiply and divide it out. 1.8x is equal to 5.4 4 times 16, 24, 32, 0, 4, 5, 4, 6, 8, one number behind, 86.4. Then divide to isolate that variable. So 86.4 divided by 1.8. Move it over, move it over. So really 18 into 864. So 864, what do we want to try here? All right, let's do 18 times 4. 32, 72. That's about as close as we're going to get. Put that decimal. So 4, subtract 72, 4, 1, 4. Let's see, 18 times 8, 64. Ooh, look at that. That's where it ends. So X is 48 minutes. Hope this helps.